$700,000 in sales on a brand new Shopify dropshipping store in the matter of only 2 months. Here's how. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. I hope each and every single one of you guys is absolutely having a great week and a great day. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the channel and to another video. If you guys are new, my name is Yash. I've been into the e-commerce dropshipping space and digital marketing space for a little over 2.5 years now. So if you're new, you definitely want to make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Go down below and absolutely smash that subscribe button. Also, make sure you like this video. Go down and smash that like button as well. It would absolutely mean the world to me. And so this video can help as many people in the space as possible. By the way, guys, mind the crazy beard and the crazy hair. I haven't been able to get a haircut in so long because of what is going on, but I promise you I will look a little bit cleaner in the coming videos. Also, especially drop a like down below if you like this new setup. I'm not completely done with it just yet, but let me know in the comments what you actually think of it. To cut to the chase, we're gonna be taking a deeper dive, almost like a case study Facebook ads view, in terms of how one of my business partners was able to generate over $700,000 in sales in a matter of 2 months on a brand new Shopify dropshipping store. Whether you're new, whether you're an intermediate, or whether you're an advanced player, I highly recommend sitting through the entire video. There's not many edits or many cuts or anything like that. It's super raw and super to the point, so you guys can actually see on how she was able to actually generate these numbers on this store. We discussed a little bit of a background in terms of what her journey was, what kind of the success story entirely looked like, and also especially the Facebook ads journey. She was entirely able to achieve this through the use of Facebook ads. So guys, sit tight and enjoy the video and take notes because there's tons of value points in this video. And the next clip should actually be me on the Zoom call, so I'll see you guys there. So guys, here we have Rawan, and like I said earlier in the intro, we're gonna be going over in terms of how Rawan was able to generate $0 to $700,000 in sales from Shopify dropshipping in 2 months. Rawan, if you just want to introduce yourself and give us a little bit of a background in terms of your journey and your
So basically, I started dropshipping around August of 2019. I started with a budget of around $5,000. I started testing a lot of products, and then I found my first winner around a month later.
Wow, okay.
And yeah, that was like that compared to the numbers that I'm doing now. That was not like a huge winner. I think it did 10K the first month and then 50K the next month. It was a seasonal product, and it did well because of Christmas. Now going into January, so far in 2020, I did over 1.5 million in revenue
Awesome.
with around 16% profit margins. And for this specific store, as you can see, it was launched mid-March. It's in the fitness niche,
Okay.
and I think, and we were also like, I was selling it for such low ticket, and we started with like the margins were like at 25% at the beginning, and then obviously when we're scaling, kind of like goes down a little bit. We ended up with 16% profit margins, 16, 17 around that. Yeah.
That's great. So is this a store that you're still running right now? And also, what number of product would this be? Because I know a lot of people are just starting out. They're often curious, like, do you have to set, or do you have to, test a certain number of products before finding a winner? Is there like a specific rule? Do you see like a specific pattern? So one, is this active? And two, like, how many products, did it take for you to actually find something this scalable?
So I am still running this store right now, or like it's running at a lower scale at the moment, because obviously we've faced payment processor issues, Facebook feedback score. That's a huge issue that we're facing. But yeah, for this specific product, I would suggest to anyone to just test as many products as possible. For this specific, till I found this store, I tested like maybe 25 products in that month, just month of March.
Wow.
Yeah, because around from January to February, I had something that was running really well, and it did around the same number in 2 months, and then that store slowly like started dying out,
Hmm.
and I started testing, within like the same niche, I guess, and then eventually this one worked.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah. So testing, as we can both agree, is definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Hmm. Yeah, not every product you're gonna test is gonna be a winner, but you should definitely be learning from every product you're testing, right? To see what's working, see what's not working, see how you can apply and transition these skills onto your next product and make it even better. So that's great. I absolutely agree with you. Now, one more thing before we do move forward into this video, was this like a brand new pixel, a brand new ad account? Was this a seasoned pixel, or was it just completely from scratch? Because again, like you said, you just started it in around March. So like, did you have an
Yeah.
advantage with the Pixel, or what was kind of that story?
So this was a brand new Pixel, but we did use some customer information from a previous store. But in terms of the Pixel and the ad account, it was all brand new.
Okay, so when you say customer information, do you mean like value-based lookalikes or email lists to create lookalikes to get
No,
warmer audience?
um, we exported some customer data from the previous store and
Okay.
then made lookalikes based on customer list.
Awesome. So basically, a brand new Pixel, right? They didn't really have
Yeah, pretty much.
anything significant on it. You still started with cold traffic, which we'll see in
Yeah.
just a little bit. So that just goes to show you guys that dropshipping is not dead. This was literally a store that Rowan started in March, and she scaled up to $700,000 and more in sales in about 2 or 3 months, right? So all of you guys that are really doubting dropshipping, you're not really doubting dropshipping, you're doubting yourself. It's really just getting these systems in place and really learning everything, right? Like Rowan said, she tested 20, 25 products before she found something this sustainable, this scalable. So would you agree with that, Rowan? Like, do you have any take? Like, I know a lot of people who are just starting out are afraid because they're like, it's too late to get in. It's not too late to get in. What's kind of your take on that?
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. Some of the issue, like even when like my friends, talk to me about it, so for one of the main issues that I noticed is that people are actually afraid to spend money to
Hmm.
actually gain knowledge. So they would be like, I don't want to get a mentor, or I paid more than $8,000 in total over mentors and just consulting calls with, like some of the like people that you see drop shipping a lot.
Yeah,
And
I know. I know. Like you and I had a few calls too. So
yeah, at the
yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much like I'm not saying go and spend $8,000 on mentors. That comes, with a process. I started with, I paid my first mentor like around $2,000. And what he did is, like no mentor is gonna, like give you the winning product. They're just gonna show you the skills to
Still,
actually, like launch ads. I didn't know how to launch ads properly. Um, and that was my main issue. Like once I knew like, okay, this is how it's done, it just came down for me to test as many products as possible.
absolutely cool. So last thing, I promise guys, we're gonna get just into the video. Again, I want to keep this as raw and as Q&A possible so you guys can get like the most takeaway from this video. So for those of you guys, or for those of people who are actually watching this who may not have such like a large budget, like a few $1,000s to allocate to a mentor or to consultation calls, or $4,000 or $5,000 to get started with ad spend. Is it still possible for them? And how should they be investing into themselves, again, if they don't have as large of a budget like you did?
It is definitely possible, but I feel like, when testing, I still, even now that I have a large budget, I still test a new product without spending more than $100 a day on it.
Okay.
Like, yeah, so even, like so I think like what they can learn is from YouTube. I still learn from YouTube videos a lot. And when testing products, don't test oversaturated products,
Mm-hmm.
um, because you're just gonna waste money pretty much. Especially
Absolutely.
when you're starting, you don't have a lot of money to waste.
Yeah.
So you wanna, and also one important thing is not to get attached to the product.
Yeah. Don't be
Um,
emotionally attached. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Because a winner shows from like the first 2 to 3 days. It does not take long to get a winner. I know some people like have different approaches to this,
Yeah.
but for me, from like the winners that I've seen, like I knew like they were good since like the first 1 to 3 days. like
Hmm.
I had like good data to actually understand, okay, this is a winner. Even if like I was not profitable across all my ad sets,
Hmm.
but some were actually profitable. So I knew like, okay, no, this has potential.
Yeah, absolutely. Some products pop off harder than others. Usually, like even if a
Yeah,
product has potential, you're not going to be profitable from day one or day two. Maybe you'll be like
yeah,
even, maybe profitable some days. It's all about just getting the data, right? So
yeah,
again, in this series, in this little case study, we're going to be going forward and see how Rowan basically, structured and took her Facebook ads literally from zero, started with cold audiences, and how literally she was able to scale. I see some days that you're reaching $30,000 to $35,000 in orders, so you'll exactly see that entire process, and you can definitely apply some of these points from this blueprint on your own stores as well. So with that being said, Ron, thank you so much for that intro. And I guess we'll go to the second slide. Cool, Ron. So do you just want to kind of start out by kind of what we have in front of here? I know you have like a little screenshot and like the layout of your ads manager. Just feel free to just line everything up and go for it.
yeah. So basically, as you can see, uh, the LA customer campaign. This is the one that I told you about. It was lookalikes from a previous store customer list.
Okay.
The other three campaigns, they're called test. We started with ad set budget. Till test, like till today, I feel like like at the most part, ad set budget for testing works so much better than CBOs.
So ABO and not CBO when testing, because you have like
Yeah,
much control, right? Basically.
yeah. It did work on like one store, but I feel like it's a hit or miss. So I would just stick
Yeah,
with ad set budgets for beginners. It's like it works really well for testing specifically.
agreed.
And like I always like once I start getting a sale, the first or 2 days, I always set up a retargeting campaign. And as you can see, I target 7-day add to cart and 7-day initiate checkout. And what I do is I put like a 5 to 10% discount code.
Okay, so you change up your actual ad copy, so
Yeah.
it's
So it looks like
option.
yeah, it would be like, hey, you left something, use
Or
this code for 5% off if you check out now.
yeah,
And it's always gonna be like your most profitable campaign, the retargeting campaign.
absolutely. Yeah, assuming you have everything structured properly, that should be
Yeah.
profitable. And that's a good point that you brought up because I know a lot of people setting up retargeting campaigns or like lookalikes. You want to basically make sure that you're changing up your ad text, your ad copy. You don't want the same ad to be presented in front of the customer, right? That's the main purpose. You're
Yeah.
retargeting them. You're putting the ad in front of the customer again, like, hey, it's okay if you didn't buy from us the first time, because usually they say in e-commerce it takes about 3 to 5 to 6 times to get someone to actually buy, right? To get actually a
Yeah.
consistent stream of traffic to buy at like a steady pace. So just change up your ad text, guys. Like what Rowan said, like you can add like discount codes, you can add like free shipping, you can add like a whole bunch of things that will really entice the customer and reel them back into your store. So I see just from March 13th is the day you launched your ads, and then to the 21st. So basically about a week, you generated about $3,600 in sales.
Yeah.
Now, what was your break even point? Because I know like you almost had a 2 ROAS. So like, were you profitable the first week? And I also see that like the 17th and 18th, your sales went down. So you just mind covering some of those things?
Yeah, so basically my break even is around 1.79, something like that. So like as you can see, I was not that profitable the first week.
Okay.
Um, when it went down, it was ad account issues a little bit.
I see.
And yeah, and I also, so basically what I did after this, after testing, you can see this campaign had a 1.5 ROAS and one had a 0.32. So
Yeah.
basically for these campaigns, I had to like turn some ad sets off, and then I ended up like duplicating the ad sets into a new campaign.
And was that CBO, like the ad sets that are working, do you usually put them into a CBO and hire the budget?
Yes, I like to actually at the beginning I like to do both. What I do is I would duplicate it into a campaign at CBO.
Mm-hmm.
I start like at like 100 budget. I feel like CBOs work better at high budgets.
Yeah.
And if it does well, I would duplicate it again. And sometimes if it doesn't do well, I would try to duplicate it into like a normal ad set budget at like 5 times each, like the ad set, just see like how it performs.
Performing if the CBO doesn't do well. So again,
Yeah,
you're even testing with budgets, right? Not only what's within
Exactly.
the ad set, but you're also testing with budgets. Absolutely, that's very important. So not only do you duplicate the working ad sets into a new CBO, do you also duplicate, like let's say in a campaign you have an ad set named dog, and that dog ad set's giving like a 3 or 4 ROAS in the first 4 or 5 days. Again, you want consistency, right? You want
Yeah.
to evaluate your ad sets in 3 to 4 days. But let's say that's bringing you a great ROAS, and like 2 other ad sets are giving you a great ROAS too. So do you not only duplicate them into a new CBO, but do you also duplicate, let's say, dog, and do you duplicate that into the same campaign with the higher budget too?
Yeah, I would duplicate the same campaign at a higher budget, and I would duplicate it like more than one time. So like at least 3 times just to see
In the
like
same
because
campaign or
yeah,
in
in the same campaign for the
okay.
ad set budget. And
Okay.
basically what it does, I'm sure you know, is that when you're targeting like an interest, every time it tries like a different pocket of audience. So even if it does well, like that specific ad set,
Mhm.
it might not do well. Like I would duplicate like 5 times, and like 3 out of the five would do better than like the other two.
That makes sense. What about, again, this is just kind of picking your brain. What about, um, let's say you have like 2 really good ad sets. What about duplicating those 2 ad sets 3 times each into like a CBO campaign? So like you would have dog, 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 cat, cat, cat into a CBO campaign with those 6 ad sets. How about that approach instead of just duplicating it multiple times within that campaign with the ad set budget?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I do both. It
Okay.
works. Yeah, CBOs has been actually working really like good, but CBOs work better with high budgets.
Okay.
So you would have to have, at least like $100 budget for each CBO,
Mhm.
and it has to be like not more than like 5 ad sets in
Okay.
that CBO.
But yeah, I agree. And lastly, were you just testing one creative from the get-go? What kind of creative was it, or were you testing like multiple creatives, like image, carousel, or like 2 videos, 2 thumbnails? What was your take on that?
So I was testing an image and a video ad.
Okay,
For the retargeting, we were using carousel ad.
okay. Yeah, so that's the main point. When you're first starting out, you definitely want to have at least 2 ads or 2 creatives per ad set, right? So, for example,
Yeah.
if you have dog and cat, dog is spending its money to 2 different creatives, and cat spending its money to 2 different creatives too. So you know which one is working. You don't want to hinder the potential
Yeah.
of the specific product, because who knows, maybe you think the video will work great, but maybe in reality the single image is going to absolutely kill it, and it will get you great click-through rates, really low CPMs, low
Yeah,
CPC.
for this product, we scaled with a photo ad.
Oh wow, that's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Until like so basically what happens is once you scale really high,
Mhm.
um the creative slowly starts to die out. That's when we introduced another video ad.
So it's
But
like cat
till
fatigue, right?
yeah, so but pretty much till we did like the first like 300, 400,000, it was through like we scaled through a video ad. It
Video
was getting like, most of the comments and shares.
makes sense. So it had a lot of engagement. Cool. So that basically what you found to be the winner, and then you basically litter
Yeah.
with a single image ad. Okay, cool. So following on from here, let's go to the next slide to see what you did after and kind of what that looked like. Let me just put ourselves right here. And yeah, go for it. Take it away. So this is the second week.
Yeah, so basically, as you can see, this week what we did is, like I mentioned, I started duplicating winning ad sets into CBOs at $100 budget.
Okay.
And I was also testing actually increasing the budget on that, like each specific ad set, like on the campaign that had ad set budgets. And I would try to increase it like from $10 to 20, and then from 20 to 50, and then from 50 to 100 on
So
that specific ad set.
okay, so one real quick thing, because a lot of people have confusion. I'm glad you brought that up. When you raise the budget of an ad set, do you duplicate and then increase, or do you just edit and then increase?
Like basically what I do at first, I would actually increase, like I would actually duplicate at a higher budget,
Okay.
and then if the same ad set, the one that like the original one does good, I would actually test the next day of actually increasing the budget itself. Rather not like I wouldn't like always just duplicate and increase the budget. I would sometimes also like increase the budget of that specific ad set.
So in that case, you would just edit it and not duplicate it.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one to do when and what's the difference? Because I know this is a big confusion for like a lot of people, like when to duplicate to vertically scale and when to edit to vertically scale.
So when it has like a ROAS of more than 3,
Okay.
that ad set, I feel like confident enough to actually duplicate it to like that, like even if the ad set was like at $20 budget, if it has a ROAS more than 3, I would duplicate it at like $100 because it's been like consistent for like 2 to 3 days at like 3 ROAS.
Okay.
Whereas if I want to test if that specific audience is really well, I would duplicate it the same asset. I would just duplicate it like 3 or 4 times at the same, $10 to $20 budget just to test, the audience. And
Okay.
and if that ad set does well consistently, then I would try to increase the budget. And just like to mention something, if the ad set has learning limited or still learning, then increasing like more than 20% is not going to affect it. But if it's active, so basically it means it got out of the learning phase.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, you should only like increase 20% of the budget.
Sense. Okay. Okay. Cool. So yeah, as we see, we were like profitable again, or we were at least scaling up consistently from the 22nd to 28th. Now, I think I cut you off. What did you do after you basically duplicated the good campaigns into the higher budgets?
So that's like, as you can see, the campaigns, what I would do is I would duplicate into higher budget at like CBO campaign. If that CBO does well, I would duplicate it again
Mm-hmm.
and increase like the budget. So if it was at $100, I would duplicate that CBO into like 150 and then duplicate again into 250.
Okay.
And then I would give these like, let's say, as you can see, like these like 3 campaigns, I would give them like 1 to 4 days, and if they're consistent, I would increase their budgets each.
Okay. So you're looking for consistency again. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you also break down interest, or like do you break down them by like delivery, by age, gender, country, placement, device? And if yes, when do you do that and how do you do that? What's your take on that? Breaking them down.
So yeah, I do that. It's, and then next slide that shows like how we broke it down. Yeah, this is like when we scaled really high. What I did is so I've already at this point launched like purchase lookalikes, add to cart, initiate checkout, Facebook and Instagram engagers, and all of that stuff. And I've noticed that the 0 to 3% did really well on the purchase lookalikes.
Okay.
But so what I did is uh that same like three ads. There were 3 ads. 0%, 1%, no, 0, 1, 1 to 3, 1 to 2, 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah, and so what we did is then duplicate each one and actually break down by age.
Okay.
So basically, we didn't have to break down by gender because it was already like we were targeting only women.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we did is we just start breaking down by age. The age of more than like 45 to 65, they weren't actually like buying much.
Okay.
So we didn't even try to test that. We just tested 18 to 24 and then 25 to 34. And we did this for like all of like most of our lookalikes, even the add to cart, the engages, like almost all lookalikes, we did the same campaign
Okay.
for each.
So I know you're saying that you broke down when it comes to lookalikes, but did you also break down when it came to ad set level?
For the interest, no, we didn't do a lot of breakdown because I felt like they were already like the ad set was already doing well. Whereas for the purchase,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was sometimes it was doing well, sometimes it wasn't. So I was like, okay, I have to figure out what's happening. And then that's when I saw, okay, that sometimes Facebook would spend like $13 on a specific age group, whereas zero as was 3 on the other one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this all being super attentive to your data, just super analyzing it every single day, see what's changing, see
Yeah,
what's
I mean, for this product as well, it was a low ticket product. So the slightest increase in cost of purchase would actually like take your margins from 20% to 5%.
What were like your profit margins on the overall product? Like when you consist product cost and shipping or compared to the actual selling price? What did that look like? Because I know you said it's a low ticket item.
Yeah, so basically we were selling it for like $16
Okay.
and it was costing so at the beginning it cost like $4, but then when the shipping and the whole COVID-19 stuff happened, we had to increase like the shipping increased like $2 to $3.
Oh, that's a lot per product. Yeah.
Yeah, so like our gross margin really like went like really low.
Gotcha. So then what was your overall like profit percent after that?
So like I mentioned, some days it was like 30%, but overall at the end it was 16%.
Oh
16,
no,
17.
I meant like per product, like per unit.
So basically when that like at first it was like $4 and we were selling for like 16 or 15.
Okay.
Yeah, but then what happened is when our like shipping price increased, like you can't just like increase the product cost. I feel like it messes with Facebook.
It
So what we did
does mess
is
with the cost per purchase sometimes. Yeah.
we actually had to uh, try to increase the average order value. So our average order value went from $17 to like $21.
So that you had pre-checkout and post-checkout upsells, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah. So that's what like really actually like fixed the whole, like the issue that we faced with the shipping prices increasing.
There you
And
go.
yeah, it was like we were actually giving customers a product that was very, very similar to this one.
Hmm.
And so a lot of our customers actually, like buy 2 units of each
Oh
or
wow,
buy like some other like, similar products.
that's awesome. What's like your favorite upsell app that you use?
For upsell, I like to use in-cart upsells,
Okay.
and for post-purchase upsell, it's Reconvert.
Reconvert. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some great ones out there. There's like bold upsells, Candy Rack,
Mm.
Sweet Upsell. There's
Uh,
Zipify Welcome
yeah,
Upsell. There's a
I
whole
like to use Candiac as well, but
that is good.
like
Yeah.
most of my revenue was from the in-cart upsell.
Okay, and that was for post purchase.
No, that was when the customer is like viewing their cart.
Also pre-checkout upsell.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So I know we skipped a few slides. I just want to go back to this one, kind of what you did from here to here. I know we went a little off track talking about like breaking down and stuff.
Yeah.
So kind of what did you do the third week? I know you said that you aggressively started scaling. So what did you do so differently? Like were you using a combination of, horizontally and vertically scaling? Like what did that really look like in terms of your strategy?
So basically, as I mentioned, I like to do both most of the time. So I would duplicate at higher budgets. I would take a CBO that was at like $100 budget, and I would duplicate it to like $500.
And
And
would you edit that budget in the CBR? Or would you duplicate it and then put it at a higher budget? What would you do?
so basically, this is like across a week. So at the like what I would do as like at the first 3 days, I would duplicate it like 3 or 4 times at
Okay.
like higher budgets.
Okay.
And if all these campaigns do well during these like 3 days, I would actually edit that campaign and increase the budget.
Okay. So let's say you increase the first $100 CBO. Let's say you're increasing the budget, you would duplicate it into like a $200 CBO, for example. So then
Yeah.
would you leave the $100 one on, or would you turn that off in that case?
I would leave it on. I
Leave
mean,
it
as
on.
long as it's profitable, like I would never turn anything off.
Yeah, so you're just basically doubling down on like what's working, just giving Facebook more money on where
Yeah.
it's giving you more of a ROAS, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And our like my top campaigns, it was, as you can see, it's called the no targeting CBO.
Okay. Yeah, right here.
And yeah, so basically this campaign, it only had three ad sets.
Okay.
One was USA, one was worldwide, and one was top four.
Sorry,
And
say that last part again. What was what?
the top four,
Oh, top four.
Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, New Zealand.
Okay.
And so basically these ad sets had no interest. It
So
was all
no,
open,
nothing. Did
nothing. Yeah.
you like exclude AliExpress or dropshippers, or it did not have absolutely nothing in it?
I always exclude AliExpress and dropshipping.
But like knowing
And yeah, no interest. That's the and like the age was very open too.
age was open. Okay, and do you do automatic placements on that one, or do you do manual?
So for this one, it was at automatic placements at the beginning, and then when we started like scaling more, I duplicated into and I started test Instagram and Facebook feed only,
Okay,
and like it started doing really well when I started just like doing the Instagram and Facebook feed. But at the beginning, I would always just do like automatic placements, and they do really well.
awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people in my group, Ecom Masterminds, which you guys have not joined yet, definitely join it. I'll leave a link in the description below. A lot of people, like I said, we're talking about how no targeting CBOs are performing really good. That same exact strategy, like you said, one US, one worldwide, and one big four or like top four, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, those are performing really well for a lot of people. So with that, because I can see that's bringing you a 3.4 ROAS consistently across like almost 5 or 6 days. What did you
yeah.
do in that? Like, did you just keep increasing the budget? Like, did you break down any of the three assets in it, or did you just keep upping the budget like day by day?
So for this one, I would like I mentioned, I would duplicate it again, and if it consistently does, I would just increase the budget. Um, the maximum that I went, I feel like it slowly starts dying out after it goes like on specific campaign. If I take it from like 500 to 1,000, it does well. If I take it from 1,000 to 1,500, it slowly starts to die out. So
Interesting.
for yeah, for these campaigns, I would like usually only keep it at like 1,200 maximum. I wouldn't try to increase it more.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. So I know the next slide is very interesting because here
Yeah,
it says that you scaled from 6K a day to 12K a day. So literally in a day, you doubled your sales, which is
yeah.
absolutely insane. I know you scaled very aggressively. And why did you scale that aggressively, right? Like, is it recommended, or did you just saw something that was sticking out so much and you were like, you know what? I just have to go all in this and just increase my budget.
Um, so as you can see, like in the previous week, we had like a 3.4 ROAS. So our margins were around like 28% around that week.
It's insane. Yeah.
And yeah, so for me, to have like really like high margins, that's like something that's like a good sign.
Hmm.
So, like I want to take advantage of that. So as you can see, we launched like um so the no targeting CBO, this is what we did. That the same uh, s- campaign that was before, I just duplicated it like 3 or 4 times,
Hmm.
and as you can see, like it was at like a $500 budget, and I just duplicated like 1,500,
Okay.
like 1,000. We slowly started scaling that,
Okay.
and for the CBO on like the percentage, the one that I told you about. What
Hmm.
we did is like we slowly started to break down.
Hmm.
And as you can see, we did some US lookalikes and some worldwide lookalikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, on like each on these were all like by the way purchase lookalikes.
Okay. So when you do lookalikes, do you only start with one country or do you do worldwide? Like, let's say you're doing a 50, 75, 95, and 10% lookalike, right? Do you only start with one country that's bringing you the most sales and the most traction, or do you just start worldwide? How does that
I
work?
would start with the US at the beginning, because it works really well at the beginning.
Okay.
But like slowly, if you get more customers and more data, then like that's because I feel like at the beginning, but I wasn't able to launch worldwide. So
Yeah,
it
you
would say
don't have the data for it just yet.
yeah, and then but then like when we had like enough customer data, we slowly started to launch some worldwide, US, and like the top four as well.
Cool. So like to break it down for those of you guys, or for some of you guys that are just kind of getting starting to maybe lookalikes or initially scaling, right? Let's say you make like a 50% custom audience and you have a bunch of lookalikes into it. Like let's say you have a 1 to 2% lookalike audience. When you're inserting that into the actual ad set, you go under custom audience, you actually, you know, obviously you insert, 1 to 2% lookalike. Do you change anything else? Like, do you change the country, the age, the gender, the targeting, the placements, or all you do is just input that LLA and then just publish that ad set?
So when I'm testing that LLA, I would just like automatic placements, no specific age. As I mentioned, the gender was women. The country is I just leave it as the lookalike. But
So
then after,
the country you set the audience to, like when you first create the lookalike.
yeah.
Okay.
But then like after a while, like once that lookalike is actually doing well and you actually want it to be better, that's when you start breaking down with age and placement. I don't do a lot of like country breakdowns even for the worldwide ones. I would just like stick to the age and placement.
How about like device or anything like that, or did you see like mobile users just right off the top killing it?
Yeah, we did I like there was we saw that iPhone users actually were buying more than like other ones, so that the no targeting CBO was actually duplicated into an iPhone users only, and we chose iOS, like the higher version. And so the 2x budget, so basically when I was starting scaling, I was testing whether to like duplicate it like at like 100% scale. So let's say if it was like at $500 budget,
Hmm.
and I would take it to $1,000,
Okay.
or if it would be better if it's like at a 50%. So if it's like at a $500, I would just like increase it like 50% rather than, so it would be like 250 increase, so a total of 750.
Okay, makes
So
sense.
so it's all about testing. As you can see, like it was the same campaign. We just like duplicated like 3 times, each one with like a different scaling like amount.
Okay. And I also say that you reach like your amount spend daily limit. I guess that's a good problem to have in a way, because
Yeah.
you're doing great numbers. So like, did you ever spend more than that, or was that kind of what you got limited to? And look,
Um.
a lot of you guys that are watching it that maybe want to scale even higher, like how do you increase that budget? What you do?
So basically, like the highest that we took this store to like spending to $12,000 a day.
Okay.
Um, the issue was that at first, like we were like as you can see, we're only allowed $5,000,
Mm.
and so we like after hitting it for like 2 to 3 days, I contacted like Facebook,
Okay.
and I was like, like we're scaling, want to scale more. Can we increase it to $10,000?
Okay.
And within like 24 hours, they allowed us to increase to $10,000.
Oh,
And
cool.
then after you get to the $10,000, you have to consistently like hit that number
Mm-hmm.
and then request an increase.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Awesome. And yeah, I mean, all of your metrics look good, like CPMs averaging $5-6,
Yeah.
CPCs underneath 50 cents. Cost per purchases are all around like $6 to $7 to $8, which is amazing. So this is like right on point, and which really makes sense as to why you were able to scale this so aggressively.
Yeah.
Cool.
One of the metrics that I look for when I'm testing a product is the cost per click. I
Hmm.
never had a winner that had a cost per click of more than like $1. Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
so that's just something that for beginners to look out for when you're testing.
Yeah.
Just
Go
just
ahead.
yeah, just to kill, like for me, like when I'm testing like a new product, if any of the ad set has more than like $1 cost per click, I would just kill that ad set,
Yeah.
especially if it's not profitable.
Hmm. Yeah. Usually, like maybe the first day or two, like you'll have some ad sets with like no add to carts, no initiate checkouts, like obviously cut
Yeah.
them off. You'll have some, ad sets with like high, like really high $30-$40 CPMs, or like $1 or $2 or $3 CPCs. Obviously cut those off, but then once you find what's working, and if that product does show to be a winner, more than likely most of the KPIs, most of the metric points will support each other. What I mean by that is like metrics, or sorry, ad sets with a good ROAS, that they will almost inevitably have good CPC, good CTR, good CPM,
Yeah.
because that's obviously bringing you a good ROAS. So they will all more than likely support each other. So you'll kind of see that pattern from the get-go, and those are all signs that those are all signs to kind of scale that product and move it further. Because at the end of the day, like once you start scaling, the most important ROAS, and I don't know if you agree, is ROAS, right? Return on ad spend.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's all that matters.
Absolutely. Cool. So I know we covered this slide, and let's go to this right now because I found this really interesting. Kind of what you were doing on the back end, because not only is the front end revenue very important, not only is the Facebook and Instagram sales very important, but the back end is important too, because no one day will be the same, right? No day will be bringing you the same amount of sales. Any sort of paid marketing platform, they will have inconsistencies because the quality of traffic and the algorithm is always changing. It's always doing its thing. So again, you want to try to reel as much people from the back end as much as possible. So how do you do that to kind of keep your margins over even on those back end days? I know like you brought over $200,000 to your plate. So what did that look like, and what did you exactly set up to again bring that back revenue in?
So as you mentioned, the inconsistency, if you don't have something set up in the back end, it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna actually like go down than the break even point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I mentioned, our shipping, like our cost of product for a single unit actually went higher.
Yeah.
So so we had to increase like our average order value. So this is the app in cart upsell,
Okay.
and we had like 3 to 4 products in that upsell that we would offer to customers,
Okay.
and they were all like either they work together or like they're very similar to the main product.
Very simple.
It's in the fitness niche, so like you have like a lot of products that like a lot of customers would be interested in.
Yeah, and
And
these are like usually a little bit lower ticket, right, than the actual main item, or they're like
no, it's
on the
a
same.
higher ticket.
Oh, they're higher ticket.
Yeah, and higher margins. So a lot of the products that we were selling for like upsells, they would cost us like $5 or $6, and we were selling them for like at least 20 to 25
Wow. See, that
dollars.
that's very, very interesting because usually when I'm doing like, and again, I'm not saying you're wrong at all because this obviously worked wonders for you, but usually when I'm doing like pre-checkout upsells, I'm always like, oh, I want to, hand them something that's a little bit lower ticket. Like how I always see is like if you're buying an iPhone XR, like, Apple will try to pre-checkout upsell you like a lower ticket item, like an iPhone case or like
Yeah,
a charging dock or like a tempered glass or screen protector. But I guess that works really well if like your offer is good and if the upsell really, goes hand in hand and really resonates with the main central product, then I guess that can work too. So that's absolutely great to hear.
yeah. I usually do what you mentioned. But for this one, I feel like my issue was that our cost of unit actually went higher. So I
Yeah.
actually like needed something to increase my margins,
You're just trying
which
to
is
squeeze as much out as possible.
yeah. So I like what I figured is selling something that's okay. It's gonna cost me less, but it's gonna like have higher margins is would work. And I tested like for upsells and post purchase upsells, you always have to test different products, see which customers react like better to.
Yeah.
And I tested like 8, and then only stuck with like 3 to 4 products that
That's,
I was offering to customers.
yeah, that,
And
that's good because if you have like one out of 20, 30 customers buying an upsell, then that may not be the best upsell, right? Then you just have to see
yeah,
what other products
yeah.
are working.
And as you can see, like I guess you could say 20 to 30% of our customers were actually adding to cart the upsells, and as you can see, like it generated 214,000 in just like these 2 months. That's an extra revenue, like
That's an insane recovery rate. What was
yeah.
your recovery rate like 20 or 30%?
It was so this app like it doesn't show the recovery rate for the in-cart upsells, but it does show the click-through rate. So we had like a
Okay.
15% click-through rate on the upsells.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then I also see that besides the upsells, you also had like other backend systems, right? Like SMS marketing and abandoned cart
Yeah,
email sequences. Those are very important, and I think you can agree with them too. Like especially incorporating both. I think a lot of people are transitioning into using their phones more rather than checking their email. So again, it's just
yeah.
about squeezing as much out of your customers as much as possible. So like what did that look like? Like how many emails were you sending out? How do you structure the text message marketing? Kind of what did that really kind of look like, and why did it work so well for you?
Okay, so for the email, I would use abandonment protector,
Okay.
and I would have 3 email sequences set up.
Hmm.
One would just be like a reminder that, hey, you left something in your cart, and it would go like out, it would be sent like an hour to like after the customer like adds to cart. The other one would be if like I would put like a free shipping or something like that mentioned, even though it's already like free shipping. By the way, I do offer, like standard free shipping,
Just like
but it's just, yeah, it's just something that, they could like you could remind, because a lot of people that like might add to cart might not like even go to checkout, so that they don't even know whether like it's free shipping or not.
makes sense.
And
Sense.
yeah, and so that would be like I would send that like around 8 hours after the first email was sent, and then the last one would have like a 10% discount code,
Okay.
and that would be sent 24 hours after like that first email.
Cool. Yeah. Very, very similar approach. I usually have one at 2 hours, one at 10, and then the third one I have at 24. So that's great. I also have like a three-stage email sequence. And then for SMS marketing, what app did you use? Did you use SMS Bump or anything else?
Yeah, I use SMS Bump, and for this specific product, for some reason, like retargeting with SMS Bump didn't do well. But what worked well was in like upsells for customer that already bought something.
Okay.
So yeah,
Interesting.
so it had like a 300% like ROAS.
Wow.
Yeah, and SMS Bump, like SMS marketing in general, it's like really cheap.
Yeah, it is really cheap. Yeah, because you basically load money and then it basically deducts from your balance, right?
Yeah. So like I mentioned, like I tested, like targeting like the customer that bought some that didn't like check out,
Hmm.
and that wasn't doing really well. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna try, giving them an upsell for customer that actually bought something. And it's like I ended up turning off the other one and just keeping the upsell.
Awesome. Cool. So last but not least, I think to wrap it up, I think we covered a lot over here. So I guess my question to you now is like, what is one your plan with this store for the rest of the year? Like, do you want to scale this even massively when it comes to like Black Friday, Cyber Monday? I know like Q4 is not too far away. And kind of what are your overall plans for e-commerce? Like, do you want to get into white labeling, private labeling, having your own brand, or just continuing building dropshipping stores? What is that looking for you like in the next year or so?
So for this specific store, I'm gonna like keep running it as long as it's possible. Now we're actually like implementing personal influencers,
That's awesome.
and
For
yeah, so on the 1st of June, like I paid an influencer sorry, around $3,000, and it generated like 18,000 just
wow,
this.
that's
Yeah,
insane. And that's a
yeah, just this.
personal influencer, right? With how many
Yeah,
followers?
like 4 million.
Wow, that's insane. So for those of you guys that don't know, like Instagram influencers are like again people or pages with influence on Instagram, right?
Yeah,
People with a large following. And there's two types of influencers, right? You have like your theme and your niche pages, and then you have your personal influencers. Personal influencers, again, for those of you guys that don't know, are actually influencers with the face behind them, right? Influencers with a personal
yeah,
brand behind them, where you can actually ship the product out to them and they can actually showcase it or wear it to their audience. Obviously, like because you had the budget, you went for that $3,000 influencer. There's smaller ones too. You know, I paid influencers when I was first starting out because that's how I started my e-commerce journey in terms of driving marketing or in terms of driving traffic to my store. I paid some like 300 or 400 bucks too. You know, with like a few 100,000 followers. So again, that's definitely an option, and that's super powerful just to get that omnipresence for your brand,
yeah.
to get a quick return of investment, and just to kind of increase that social presence and brand awareness too. If you want to build, a brand into something long term and sustainable, I think that's awesome too. But yeah, go ahead, go on.
Yeah, and in the future, like I feel like just like as long like once like COVID-19 stuff slowly starts, like things start to return to normal, then when the shipping prices like go like lower, we're gonna actually like like private label this product.
Private label or like white label, right?
Yeah, so basically because when like I've already like spoken to my supplier about it, and it's gonna like cost you like an extra like $2 to $3.
Per unit.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
and and that's not bad, but because we're selling it low ticket, it has to, so it has to be like stick to like lower than $7 in cost of like single unit.
But then at that point, you can also increase your product price a little bit
Yeah,
because there's more branding behind it, right? There's more
yeah,
authority behind it because like it's yours, right? You have really the
yeah, for
power
sure.
to sell it as high as possible, as long as it makes sense and the perceived value to the product makes sense, right? Like what
Yeah,
customers are actually buying the product for the features and end results, and for the actual benefits for the product. Because again,
exactly.
fitness, wellness, those are all evergreen products. You can sell them throughout the year, especially in like the current situation we're dealing with. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Like any other bigger plans you have just in e-commerce?
So basically we're just like I'm still, I have like 3 or 4 other stores, and I'm constantly like, like testing,
Yeah,
and yeah, I want to scale my other stores like as big as this one.
absolutely.
Like, yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. Well, guys, if you want to see me and Rowan partner up on a store, drop a like below, and maybe we can even make like a bigger case study, like a end of the year Q3 or Q4 case study. So if you guys want to see that, definitely drop a like on this video, smash that like button. And last but not least, like, what's kind of your biggest takeaway from all of this? Like, what's one basically takeaway? What's one tip that you would give to people? Because I know a lot of people on my channel are like beginner slash intermediate. So what's kind of the one best advice to really just sum it all up and just kind of like your biggest personal takeaway? So then you can deliver that advice to like my audience.
So one of the biggest things I would mention is just, like to keep on learning. This is like it's skills. So
It's
you have to, slowly develop your skills and test more products, and not get like stressed by like the like Facebook issues, payment processor issues. Like, the higher you scale, the more issues you're gonna face.
just
And yeah, you just have to like deal with it. I remember being so stressed, and like it really takes away from like from everything. So just, try to, like not get like really really stressed by this.
cool. Yeah. So patience, take it slow, embrace the journey. If you come across hindrances, roadblocks, and problems, which again you will,
You
and
will for sure.
that's like the fun part of owning a
Yeah.
business, whether it be whether it be an online marketing venture or whether it be something else, whether it be an e-commerce store or just like a marketing agency or really whatever it really may be. Like, you're gonna come across these things and you just learn and grow from them, right? So the next time you come across something, you can get around it faster without increasing your momentum. And at that point, you've probably learned a great amount of things as well. And yeah, I really appreciate you for coming, Rawan. If you
Thank
want
you.
to drop your, yeah, absolutely. If you want to drop and say your Instagram or any other social media handles, feel free to say it. I'll also drop it in the description down below too. So any of you guys want to follow and keep in touch with Rawan, see what she's up to, just give her a follow. So feel free to shout those
So
out whenever.
my Instagram is odxart. Um, I'll just like you can check the description.
Yeah,
He'll
I'll leave
have
it.
it there. And I'm on Facebook as well. I'm on the ecom masterminds group, so you could, yeah, so we could connect there as well.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, like I said earlier, join that group. It's free. We're almost reaching 3,000 members. Rawan's in that group as well. Obviously, she knows what she's doing, so she can be of help to you time to time. So yeah, Rawan, with that being said, thanks again. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, or concerns, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I always make sure to reply to each and every single one of you guys. And with that being said, stay tuned to the next video, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.